Hello, Coach Mel here at Coach Mel's Crochet Corner. So we're going to work today on this little mug rug, and it's using our leftover yarn. I called it scraps before. I shouldn't call it scraps because it's not scraps. It's still very useful. So this one I did with several different colors. You're going to use one color for your main background, so I'm going to do it using the tan again. And then you can do several different colors. You can do all the same colors, whatever you want to do for the part that's going to be woven. You're also going to need a needle. You're going to want a bobby pin or some other type of stitch marker. I'll just show you a little hack with that. Some scissors. And I'm using an H hook, which is my 5.0. I tend to crochet pretty tight. That made this about 6 inches by, I think it's 6 by about 5.5, not including the fringe. So if you want it bigger or smaller, adjust accordingly. If you go loose, I would go with a G and it'll probably come out a similar size. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna move this out of the way. So we're gonna start by making our grid. So in order to do that, we're going to start with our slip knot. So around your fingers, come through the back and up through the middle. Hold on to both the tail and the lead yarn and pull that up. Hook in and go ahead and tighten that up. Now, this is pretty simple. We're going to do chain, single crochets, and double crochets. So this is a great project for a beginner. And it's not anything that takes a long time. So good practice. All right, we're gonna start with a chain of 21. Now, if you wanna make this a different size, you need to do your chain in even numbers plus 1. So that's why I'm doing 21. All right, if you want to go up, you'd go to 22 plus 1, 24 plus 1, or if you want to go down, you'd go 18 plus 1, or you'd go 16 plus 1. It has to be an even number plus 2. So I'm going to do 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. All right, so if you're just starting out, chains are great to practice with your tension. So you want them to all be nice and even like that. Okay, we're now going to do a row of single crochets. So we are going to start in the second chain from the hook. So just quickly on how that works. Whoops, I split that last one, so let me fix that. All right, there we go. So you don't ever count the one on the hook. That is not considered one of your chains. We're going to count this bump right here as our first chain. So we're going to go into the second chain with a single crochet. So we go into that stitch, pull up your loop. You have 2 on your hook, yarn over, come through both. Next stitch, in, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through the 2. All right, we're going to keep doing that all the way down. And what's going to happen is we're going to end up with 20 single crochets. I do not count that one that we skipped, especially in singles, because it's a tough mark if you needed to get into that stitch. But just continue your singles all the way down, in, pull up your loop, grab that yarn and pull through both. That tail's gonna curl a little bit on me. Again, that's a part because I tend to be a little bit on the tighter side on my crocheting. Trying to keep it out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Whoops. All right, couple more here. So it's one row of single crochet. Couple more. Careful about splitting the yarn. And let's get 2 more here all the way down to the end. Now, if you're unsure on your count, go ahead and go back and do a quick count of your stitches. and make sure that there are 20 there. Okay, it's really important that that's right and that it's an even amount because of this next step. We're going to be making the grid and we have to have an even amount in order for it to come out right. All right, next row. So we're going to go into our first row of making the grid, which are double crochets. So we are going to start with a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This is when I now will do my turn. All right, we're going to skip this first stitch, which is coming right down underneath the chain, and we're going to do a double crochet into this next stitch right here. So yarn over first, into that stitch and pull up your loop, yarn over, come through 2, yarn over, come through 2. That's your double crochet. And now we need to do a chain 1. So just yarn over and pull through your loop. We're going to skip this stitch and we're going to come over here to this next stitch, all double crochets for our stitches for this grid pattern. Once we finish the double crochet, chain 1, skip, come over to this next one, double crochet, and then chain 1. Whoops, I split there, so I'm going to fix it for my chain. All right, skip 1, come over here for our next double, chain 1, skip 1, next double, chain 1, skip 1, next double, chain 1, skip 1, next stitch is a double, chain 1, skip, next stitch is a double, chain 1, we're going to skip, next stitch is a double, chain 1, and we're going to skip, and we need to go into this very last stitch down here with our final double. Oh, I did not get through both sides of that stitch, so let me go into there again. There we go. All right, let's take a look at what we have here. All right, so there's the start of our grid. So it's a double crochet, chain 1 with a skip. So we have 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 holes to start our grid. All right, so I'm going to do the next row with you as well. We're going to start the same way that we started down here, which is with a chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then I turn my work. All right, now get myself some more yarn here. We are going to again skip what's right underneath the hook, and we are going to come into the chain 2 space. Let me see if I can get this a little bit so you can see it brighter. All right, so this counts as my double crochet in chain 1. So we're going to double crochet in this nice big space here. No, we're not. No, we're not. Don't listen to that. Okay, we're going to stop that. I'm thinking about a different row. Chain 3, we're going to double crochet in each double crochet. So we're going to come over here to our double with a double. We're then going to chain 1. And we're going to go into the double with a double. So we're just continuing the line on the grid that we started from that first row of the grid. And chain, good. Into here, double, chain 1, double, chain 1, double. I feel like I split that. Let me go back and fix that. Double, chain 1, double, chain 1, double, chain 1, double, chain 1. Now here's a tricky part. So we have to go into this chain 3 here, and remember that I told you this was acting as a double and a chain 1. So we have to go into that middle chain with a double crochet. Now I'm going to show you a little hack as we start the next row if you're having problems finding that stitch. All right, so we now have 2 rows in our grid pattern. Okay, so if you have trouble finding the stitch in that chain, we're going to start the next row with a chain 3. So 1, 2, I'm going to take my my bobby pin, or you can use a stitch marker, and I'm going to stick it right into that second chain. That way I know that's the stitch that I'm going to go into when I come back across. All right, so there's my chain 1, 2 with a marker, and 3. And now I'm going to turn, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put a double crochet in the top of each double crochet, and then chain 1, double crochet. So this is just a simple repeat now, all the way across. All right, so I'm going to leave you to finish doing this part by yourself. Now, I made mine so that I had 8 going up. So I have 10 across, but I had 8 going up. Let me show you right here. Here's one that I'm in the process of making. All right, so we've got our 10 going across, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is my height. So it's a little bit wider than it is tall. And here's what the finished one looks like. All right, so we're gonna keep going with your double crochet chain 1 all the way across. And once you have 8, or however many you want, I will meet you and show you how we're going to finish that off. Okay, here we are with our completed grid. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm running very low on yarn, but I think I'll be okay. I'll be able to finish this up. Okay, we're going to do a row of single crochet. I'm changing this up a little bit from what I did on my live earlier today, just because I realized it looked a little bumpy, so we're going to fix that. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to do a row of single crochets. We are going to start in this first space right here, and we're going to do a yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over through the 2, single crochet. Whoop, get that split. All right, now you're going to go into right here, which is our double crochet with a single, and then we'll go into our space with a single. We'll go into our double crochet with a single. So we're just going to continue that pattern all the way across, where 1 is going into the space and 1 is going into the double crochet stitch. Space, stitch. Finish that across. I keep bumping the camera a little bit. Sorry about that. I really need to have it on a different tripod. Okay, a little bit more. Where was I? Stitch and space, stitch and space, stitch, whoops, oof, really split through that one, stitch and space. And now, and this was different than the live that I did earlier, so if you saw that, I changed up the start and the end. We are going to go into this chain right here. So I just hit the space, so I just want to go into that middle chain, just like we did when we were doing the grid pattern, and put your final single right there. All right, that leaves the ends nice. My other one, the end got a little bit funky. All right. Now we're going to do one more thing to finish this off. We're going to come back across with a line of slip stitches. So we started down here with our chain. I just want a nice finished edge over here. So we're going to turn first. There's no chaining. All right. We're going to start by going right into this very first stitch here. We're going to pull up that loop and then pull through the 1 loop on the hook. Did I split it? Got it. Okay. Go into the next stitch, pull up your loop, pull through. Next stitch, pull up your loop, pull through. And we're going to keep doing that all the way across. There's no yarning over. You're just pulling up that loop, and then you're bringing it through the loop on the hook until you get back down to that one loop. In, pull through, pull through. In, pull through, pull through. Good. Keep that going. Good, good. In, through, and through. In, through, and through. Almost there. Last little bit. And last one, and done. All right, so like I said, that just kind of finishes off that edge a little bit, makes it look the similar width to the bottom where we started with that chain. Okay, so I am going to cut and pull through. All right, now that's the yarn that I have left, so but I had a decent sized ball when I started, and this is my third one, so I'm really happy that I got that many done. Okay, now we have to do the chains that are going to be used for the weaving. So here's one that I'm in the process of working on. All right, so we're going to make this chain. So it's a little bit of, this is not very precise. This is, you know, just kind of going with the flow of things. So you can't see, but what I did is I took yarn, okay, so this was the ball of what I'm going to use, and I made 2 strands that are about my arm's length, or arm's width, I should say. So I reached both arms out to the side, you know, so I'm 5'4", so I didn't go quite all the way out, but I reached out and made 2 pieces the width of my wingspan, if you would. Okay, so we're going to make a chain with these 2 together. So leave a bit of a tail here. There's going to be extra. That's okay. You're going to use it. So go ahead and do that slip knot. Come through. Pull it up. All right, now the chain, it's again going to depend on how, if you made this bigger or smaller, you might need a different amount. I'm going to do 20 for my chain. It's going to be probably too long, and that's fine because I could always pull a couple more out after I weave. So right here, I'm just going to do a chain of 20. Ooh, got that a little too tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, I am not going to fasten that off because, like I said, I'm probably going to need to shorten it. So I'm going to put my bobby pin on there just to hold it because we have to do some weaving. Okay, time to grab your needle. We are going to thread the needle with the end where you started with your slip stitch. Go ahead and thread your needle. All right. And now we're going to weave. I'm going to do it in the middle just for ease of you being able to see it. So I'm going to come up, through, and then down the next, up, down, up. And I'm just weaving and then giving a little tug to pull it through. All right. Down, up, down. Okay. All right. So I just pulled it through and make sure that it's going to lie flat. All right. And over here, I want this knot to be kind of right up along this last line here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have that nice and lined up, and I'm going to go through this stitch right here. Pull it through. All right. So that knot goes right there. I'm going to come back around, go through that same stitch, but now I'm going to backtrack and I'm going to come through this loop and give a little tug. All right, so it's fastening it there. I'm going to do it one more time. go into that stitch, same stitch, backtrack through that loop, give a little tug, okay? We're gonna do the same thing down at the other end, but first we have to get our chain to the right size. So as you can see, it's too long, which I knew it would be, but I'd rather have it too long than have to fight with making it longer once it's already in here. So I'm gonna take out 2, and then I'm going to pull through to finish off my chain. All right, knot up that chain, just pull that through. All right. I probably could have kept it one longer, but that's okay. It's fine. So now I need to thread my needle down at this end. And again, I'm going to make sure that this is lined up, and I'm going to go through the stitch right where it lines it up. Pulling that knot right there. So it's fine actually. I thought it was going to be too small, but it's not. So right there, I'm going to come back through that same stitch. And as I'm looping around, my tail's a little too long here. I'm going to come through. Let me pull that tail through before I get a heck of a knot here. Okay, there we go. All right, and make sure that your yarns are even as you tug. I'm going to go through that one more time. I'm bringing it back through that loop and then give a nice little tug. Okay, so just putting a nice little knot at the end there. Okay, so now depending on how you want your fringe to be lengthwise, we're going to clip both ends so that they're about the same. Okay, and we're going to do something with this yarn that we have left here. So I'm going to show you on the one that's done. And you don't have to do this, but I like the fringe to be nice and thick. If it only had the one that came off of the chain, it would be, they'd be sporadic. There'd be that one, and then there'd be this one way over here. I like it to kind of fill in a little bit more. So we're going to take some of the yarn. Remember, I told you it was going to be too long. I knew it was going to be too long. I'm going to cut that in half. All right. And I'm going to make some more fringe right next to this one that's here. All right. So I'm going to come over to the side of it, the stitch right next to it, put in your hook, and then go ahead and pull that yarn through. And now I'm going to loop all 4 strands because I have it doubled, and then pull through. And then just give that a little tug. All right, so now we have a much thicker fringe there. I'm going to do the same thing down at the other side. All right, I'm actually going to go again to the side. I'm going to grab that yarn, pull it through, loop it over the hook, get that other fringe out of the way, pull it through, and then just give it a little tug to tighten it up there. Okay, now if you wanted to, if you felt that you wanted it even thicker, here, let me take, I had another little piece from the other end. I can go right into this same spot where I did that other one and add another thickness to it. So again, making that fringe even a little bit thicker. Whoops, I don't like that. I split that down there. Let's get that out of there. All right, pull this through. All right, and then I would go back and I would trim all of those so that they were all even. All right, and I've got even thicker fringe than what I did on my original. All right, so you're going to continue to do your weaving, make your chains, and then weave them in. Now, on this one, you will see what I did here is, oh, I actually messed that one up right there. Yep, I did it the same. So that I was going to say there's 2 different ways you could do it. I didn't mean to do it that way, but so this one, I started over, this one I started under. This one over, this one under. These two right here I happened to actually do wrong. They both started under. So depending, you can do the whole thing with them going the same way, and then what'll happen is this row here will all be on top. Or you can do like I intended to do, which is what it looks like over here, where every other one I really did the weaving, every other one in and out, in and out. So that is it. That is my little tutorial on how to make a mug rug. I don't have a mug handy here where I could put it on there, but really nice to set that hot mug on so that you don't ruin your woodwork or your tables or whatever. Now, if you're going to use this for a coaster, I would say that you would need to do some type of backing on it, like maybe some cork. You can get those sticky corks to put on it, only because the water is going to absorb into this one. With no backing on it, it'll go right onto your furniture. So this is more intended to put a hot mug on so that it's not harming your furniture. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I would love to see what you do. So go ahead and throw some pictures in the comments so that I can see your mug rugs. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Take care, everyone.